Hello, my name is Do Chon Heng, and I am currently making a report on one of the most ambitious and far-reaching rapid response activities performed by the SAF or the Singapore Armed Forces. Firstly, let me give you a brief piece of information about where this generous nature and willingness to help other people and save lives started. It started in the 19th century of Singapore, when NS was just a group of conscripts. At this time, NS and the SAF were more interested in dealing with the threat of a resurgence in the confrontasi problem, as well as preventing and completely stalling any racial riots which might resurge. At that time, there was a disaster. In 1986, the New World Hotel collapsed. SAF personnel were immediately rushed to Serangoon Road to deal with the crisis and help recover any survivors. This has not changed much in the 20th century of Singapore. At this time, in this current era, the SAF has maintained much of its original duties of preserving Singapore's culture and a vastly superior way of life while asserting its sovereignty as an independent nation. The threats of racial riots are long past, but there is still the threat of terrorism in the form of the Islamic States of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS. The SAF has put much of their resources into alerting the public to this threat and telling them to learn skills and be prepared should they be caught in a terrorist attack, so that they have a higher chance of survival. However, these events, including the New World Hotel disaster, does not match what the SAF did in this century. In 2004, a class 9.8 earthquake occurred, causing a tsunami which ravaged parts of Indonesia and Thailand. The most affected areas were Banda Aceh and Manipur, which were the epicenter of the quake. The SAF immediately rushed planes and Chinooks along with military personnel and supplies to aid the startled civilians and victims in the area, as well as help them evacuate to safer terrain. This was the largest aid activity ever performed by the SAF, involving a huge number of vehicles such as Chinook helicopters, military certified transport planes, supplies, and military forces. This would not have been possible if it were not for Singapore's well-developed economy, which provided a large budget for the military to use. The military evidently used this budget appropriately to develop a strong land and air force and an innovative navy to cope with any smugglers and threats. This would explain why the SAF was able to even lend a hand in another country, as they would not have been able to do so should they have had less resources available. The other reason why this was possible was the ASEAN agreement. ASEAN refers to the 10 countries, which refers to a government body it refers to a political body formed by 10 countries in Southeast Asia. ASEAN was formed to promote regional security as well as economic trade. Without ASEAN, it would have taken a month at least to get sufficient paperwork done to allow SAF forces to enter to enter Indonesian held territory. And many more people would have died if that happened. Because of these two factors, the SAF was now able to help other countries instead of just helping Singapore itself. But no matter which country they helped or the scale of the disaster they were aiding in, the most important thing is that the SAF demonstrated good values such as kind-heartedness, compassion, and the willingness to help save and preserve lives. This event would have strengthened the bonds between Indonesia and Singapore, especially since in the past, after Singapore executed 2 agents sent by the Indonesian government during the konfrontasi period, had angered the Indonesian government. I am very sure that Operation Flying Eagle, as this aid was caused, was beneficial to the bonds which joined both countries together as a Southeast Asian in Southeast Asia.